Well, hello everyone. Welcome to September Power Hour. We're a little off cycle this month, but oh, we're a little off cycle this month because just kind of had to do what we had to do, but all is good. So, anyway, welcome. Glad everyone is here. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day for my friends in the United States. Hope everybody is doing well and is pumped up and ready to write some writing or ready to write some words. That's what I get when I wake up like an hour before I do this. I start stumbling over my words here. So let's take a look through the comments and see how everyone is doing here. Let's see. Miranda is watching a lecture for my dance appreciation class. Finished my English 1302 assignment. Less than fun. All right, good stuff. Let's see what everybody else is up to. Megan, currently working on finalizing revisions and edits for my tragedy manuscript since it's due this Monday. Yeah, you are, looks like you're under the gun, Megan. Good luck. Hopefully this is some good writing time for you. And let's see. Deborah Edwards, working on rewriting some of my scenes to make them stronger. Okay, good stuff. And Ulkesh is in the house. Hello, Ulkesh. Welcome. And said he made it live this time. Nicholas Cato Strode, welcome. Amy Downs, welcome. Precious, welcome. DC, welcome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Power Hour too. All right, so I guess what I'm working on, I'll share that real quick as some folks still come in, and I've got just a few announcements for everybody. So I'm working on a short story that I'm going to be sending out to the magazines of the world, and it's supposed to be about a 6,000 word short story. I'm at about 5,800 words, so I may or may not finish it during this Power Hour. I've got some other stuff that I need to work on. Namely, I have a hard stop today at about 11:45 Central Time because I'm actually doing a speaking engagement at the Riverside Writers Club. So if any of you are members of the Riverside Writers Club, I'll be joining their Zoom call and talking to them about productivity and being a writing machine. So I do have to cut things a little short today. But if you do have comments for some reason, I know everybody likes to have questions and things. If there are any questions left over after I have to jump off the call, I will answer those by comment. All right. So if you have a question, don't feel like I'm going to ignore you. I will make sure everybody gets their questions answered. So if for some reason I can't get to you, just know that I will get to you later this afternoon. So just come back to the page and check the comment, or make sure you've got YouTube notifications on. So when I reply, you'll get the answer. All right. And second thing is the week of September 21st and 22nd, I am doing a joint conference with the Independent Book Publishers Association, IBPA, and we're doing a webinar on self-publishing basics. All right, this is a joint webinar between Ally and IBPA. If you don't know IBPA, they are a very, very large organization here in the United States, and they give a lot of really good information to booksellers and publishers. So it'll be a really cool conference. I'll drop a link in the show notes for that. This is purely for beginners. So if you're a beginner, this would be a great webinar to go to. There'll be a lot of best practices. We're going to talk about ISBNs, talk about print books, some tips on getting into bookstores, all that stuff. It's going to be really cool, and I'm doing it with Chris Locke, who is basically my counterpart at the IBPA. All right, so September 21st and 22nd, I'll be sure to announce that on my interwebs as we get closer to it. And everybody knows I was on the Creative Pen this past month, so a lot has happened. So I was on the Creative Pen. If you have not heard that episode, I have it in the show notes or on the video description. Joanna and I talked about estate planning and everything that has to do with estate planning and estate management for authors. So that was a great conversation. And I was also on the Indie Author podcast with Maddie Dalrymple, and we talked about maximizing the most from going to in-person writing events. So if you want to check either of those out, those are in the description. All right, so let's see. So a few extra folks jumped in. That's why I was just kind of talking and singing and dancing. All right, Angela, welcome. Mutavani, hello, welcome. Ty, welcome. Love this community of writers. I'm working on the book 4 and the final book of my series. Looking forward to starting a new book and world soon. Awesome. Well, hopefully you can get it done. Get it done during this session here. All right. Precious, I am finishing character development exercises due next week and then organizing my story a little into pantsing. Awesome. Precious asks, is the webinar in the subscription? It's not in the description yet. I will put a link to it during our first session. All right. And Deborah asks, is the IBPA webinar going to be on YouTube? Why? Great question. Yes, it is. It will be on YouTube, and everyone will be able to listen to it. Yes, so that will be there soon. And Megan, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's always fun to talk to Joanna. This is my third time on the show, so it's fun. All right, Travis. Oh, thank you. I listened to your podcast and enjoyed it thoroughly. You're about your why and why you put your pick on your business card. Added perspective. Yeah, thank you. That's the podcast I did with Maddie. So that's what he's referring to. So good stuff. Glad you enjoyed it. Glad some folks had some good time with it. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started? Because like I said, I do have a hard stop. So I want to make sure we get through all of our writing sessions and get to as many folks' questions as possible. All right, so anyone who's new here, just a 10-second elevator pitch that I'm gonna put some music on the screen and a calming image and a timer. When the timer starts counting down, we're going to write toward our next work in progress, be productive, edit, whatever you want to do. All right. And then when that timer counts down, we'll debrief, check in, and we'll do that 3 times. All right. So any questions that you have in the meantime, anything you want me to answer, feel free to put it in the comments. All right. So why don't we get started? All right. And here we go. All right. We did it. First session is behind us. So, in the comments, let me know how many words you got written so we can all celebrate and cheer each other on. Sounds like everybody's got some good momentum, which is awesome. All right. So, I had to put the finishing touches on a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to be giving at noon today, noon Central Time. So that ate up most of my first session, but I did get into editing this short story. So I'm about 200 words away from being done with the story. So I basically jumped back to the beginning, and I'm just going through and cleaning some stuff up so that when I write the end, it's the end. I'm not even going to look at it again. I'm just going to send it out to my editor and forget that I ever wrote this story until it's time to send it to magazines. So, but yeah, I'm doing pretty well to this week. I'm at about 22,000 words for the week. So, as you all know, I dictate. So I got my voice recorder. I made some enhancements to my process workflow that should allow me to hit somewhere around 1.2 million words next year. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's see what everybody else has gotten done here. Nicholas says, I'm working to improve my dialogue in my fantasy novels. They should be out in the next Power Hour. Yeah, absolutely, Nicholas. Please share the links when they're available. All right, Ulkesh, I'm going to be writing a short story critique today and critiquing my own story. Awesome. All right. And JC, good morning. Welcome to the stream. And Ramses Pharaoh, all right, best wishes as you summon great stories from your creative minds. Fantastic. All right, Christina's here. Hello, Christina. And Wylan has made it. Hey, Wylan, good to see you. And Iocentropy, reading all these comments makes me so happy. You go, guys. Absolutely. And Haley, yeah, bouncy in the lo-fi. That looks like an anime girl in your thing here. So nice avatar. Okay, are you serious? I love that name. Currently at the editing phase. Kind of feel that I keep adding and deleting things. Yeah, it's like a teeter-totter sometimes. And Ty, 277. All right, Martha, 483 on my latest project. Fable City Radio. Awesome. Deborah, working merging two scenes. Haley, pressing forward with my first novel ever and fighting with perfection. And just saying, go with the plot and move forward to stop being stuck. Yeah, sometimes you just got to follow your fingers, Haley. Just keep sitting down, keep making progress. You might only sit down and make 10 words and then have to get up and go do something and then sit down again and do 20 words, go do something, 100 words, and then next thing you know, the block will be cleared. But yeah, winning the war against yourself is the hardest thing to learn when you first start writing. So it sounds like you're on the right track. All right, Miranda, 1341. Very nice. Okay. Travis, I was reading the subreddit for self-publish. One author wrote that serializing is the way to profits. What are your thoughts? I mean, there are many ways to profits, Travis. Serialization is one of them. Certainly, there are authors who do very well with serialization. I've spoken to some, but it is a very specific form. And so I would not write serials just because serials are the way to profit. I would write them because you really enjoy them and because you're in serial communities like Kindle Vella, Radish, Wattpad. If you really enjoy that and that's your audience, then go for it. I wouldn't write serials just to write them, though. There's a very specific method to doing it, and it seems like it changes every few years. All right, let's see. Hey, Tim, awesome. Quiet at work miraculously, so I was able to write 520 words. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, everyone's making good progress. I can't get to all the comments here. Editing the end of a tragedy. It's a process, but coming along rather nicely. Very cool. Very cool. All right, Ty, what do you think of fixing a first published novel? I recently reread one of my first books and have gotten better at writing. I could edit out a lot of passive voice. You know, Ty, that's a really good question. I'm a big believer in keeping that first book as a monument to your talent. I think you would be better served using those skills that you have leveled up on your next book. Because maybe there are people that like that first book. Maybe they bought it and they really like it. And then if you go back and change it, then then the experience isn't the same for those people. So I'm a big believer in just keep leveling up and keep moving forward. You can spend your entire career re-editing, books that you've published. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, Haley says Lo-Fi Girl has an avatar maker on their website, so you can make your own version. Good stuff. Yep, Lo-Fi Girl is good stuff. All right. Everyone is doing great. Oh, by the way, I mentioned in the first part of the show that I am doing a joint webinar with Ally and the Independent Booksellers, Book Publishers Association, IBPA. I did put a link in the video description, so please, if you are interested in signing up for that, it is a free beginners webinar. I have links in there. The first option is for the Northern Hemisphere folks, and the second option is for our folks down under. All right, so if you're interested, be sure to check that out. All right, so let's go ahead and move on, folks. We charge ever onward to our second writing session, and everyone is making great progress so far, so let's keep it up. right. Second session is in the bag. Let's see how everybody did. Let me know. I saw some questions come in over the second session. Wylan asks, I'm working on a book of short stories, spooky short stories, for kids and young adults. Are there legal aspects to be aware of if I plan to ever republish the stories outside of the book, like ISBNs? No, I mean, not necessarily, Wylan. I mean, I think if you want to publish the collection of stories, then publish them. The only thing maybe to think about is that if you ever want to submit those stories to like a magazine, they prefer that stories be unpublished. So if you want to publish the book first, then just know that you really can't take those stories and send them to magazines. But if that's not your goal, then I think just publish the stories. And if you ever want to take a story out of not take a story out of the collection, but if you ever want to use one of those stories again, maybe you want to publish it as a single, then yes, you would need an ISBN for that if you want to publish it. Not required to purchase, but certainly highly recommended. But it is an expensive investment. But then also, are you going to do a cover? You have to format it separately, that sort of thing. Those are the things I'd be worried about, not necessarily legal. Okay, if I write a story and just post it online, like on your social, do you have to remove it before you can publish it somewhere like KDP or other sites? No, you only have to worry about removing it if you're going to be in KDP Select. All right, so if you're just posting it like on your website, I don't recommend posting on socials. I'm just not crazy about that. But if you want to publish it on your website, for example, then there's nothing wrong with that. And as long as you're not in KDP Select, no one's really going to care. All right, so let's see. And yes, thank you, Alkesh. You kind of answered that as well. All right. Okay, here we go. Wylan, what are your thoughts on holiday specials for your series? Short stories that are separate from the main books, like Reaper's Way. Yeah, I love that idea. It's something I want to do more of. You mentioned I do have a book called Reaper's Way. It is a Christmas story in the Good Necromancer series. Honestly, I would like to do more of that, like, have an Easter story or a Halloween story or, those sorts of things within my own universes. I think it's a phenomenal idea. If you're going to do it, I would highly recommend doing it like off season and then just remembering, oh wait, I got a Halloween short story. I need to promote that to my audience. So I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to get myself into the mode of writing a Christmas story unless it's Christmas. But if it's Christmas, then I can't really promote it until next Christmas because I probably won't be done with it until New Year's, right? So I don't know. It's just something to think about. Timing is kind of everything. Travis, I'm at the hard part of writing research where I'm trying to make the abstract concrete. Yes, indeed. Martha, 509. Wylan, 205. Ty, 270. Miranda, 1365. Nicholas, making progress. And Tim, 600. Hey, that's great news, Tim. Feeling motivated again for the first time in months. That is fantastic. And thank you all for the super chats. These are so kind. Travis, pair character, bowing down and saying thank you. Well, thank you, pair character, and thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. And let's see. Oh, and Martha, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Always appreciate your time. Well, thank you guys for being so kind today. All right, and Wylan says, I would love reading some holiday specials of older series of yours. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about doing, because my 10-year writing anniversary is coming up on January 6th, 2024. And I'm thinking about writing a sequel to my very first novel, which is Magic Souls. It's an interactive adventure. And I'm thinking about writing a sequel, and it will be an interactive novel. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to write a sequel to a book, and then connect them based on the decisions that you make. Like I'm thinking very hard and long about that. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot I'm in beast mode. So you guys know beast mode is on. I started it in the first week of September, and yeah, I've written about 54,000. I think it's 54,000 words so far since the beginning of September. So yes, beast mode is in full swing. I guess I'm not I'm talking about it, but I'm not publicizing it as much because it's kind of just like a normal thing for me. This voice recorder is pretty much allowing me to write cleanly anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 words a day. So I have not missed a single word or a single day in September yet, hoping to keep it that way. And I might be able to hit 100,000 words this month. So good stuff. All right. Let's see. Amy got caught up on some Scrivener housekeeping, feeling very pleased. Yep. It's always good when your Scrivener file is nice and tidy. And Deborah Edwards is loving her new scene. And yeah, good stuff, everybody. All right. So let's go ahead and just get the third session out of the way, and then we can shoot the breeze. As I said, I got a hard stop at 11:45, so I want to make sure we get the writing sessions in, and then we can chat. All right, so session number 3. Good luck, everybody, and let's cue the music.
Hey, baby, it's me. I was just calling to chat with you a little bit. I miss you a lot. Bye, hon.
Please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
All right. Well, we did it, everybody. I want to know, how did you do? What's your word count for the third session? And how did you do overall? Would love to know how everybody did here. So it sounds like everybody had a really productive power hour based on everything I've heard so far. Brendan has a question around publishing. If I'm submitting a manuscript to publishers, should I wait to hear back from each one, or should I submit multiples even though they say to submit solely? Well, Brendan, I'm a self-published guy. I can't really give advice around traditional publishers, but if they're saying to submit solely, then I wouldn't break that rule personally. But good luck there. All right, Nicholas Cato Strode says, making progress. That's good stuff. So what I was able to do is I was able to get this presentation ready for the speaking event that I'm going to be doing in about 40 minutes. And I was also able to get through about the first fourth of this short story, just reviewing it to make sure everything was copacetic. Just made a few changes here and there. I do anticipate finishing this short story this afternoon, as it's about 6,000 words. Another thing that some folks may be interested in, I can officially announce it. I won't announce it on my blog for a few days, but I did write a sequel to my book, Be a Writing Machine. So I know many of you have read that book. It's kind of the book that is my most popular book, and I thought it would be cool to put together a new book, Be a Writing Machine 2, that basically gathers some of the lessons that I've learned since I wrote that book in 2018. I've learned a lot. I've become a lot more productive, a lot more prolific, and so it has some more tactics in there to kind of help other people do the same. So I'll be polishing that over the next couple of days, and that will be fun. Let's see here. All right, Martha, 1369 total words, very productive. Yeah, that's a great word count. And Ty, 200 for a total of 747. Awesome. Yeah, everyone is doing great. This is really good stuff. So I'm trying to think. Wait for some more responses to come in. Has anyone heard of Midjourney? This is an AI, artificial intelligence art generation. If you haven't heard of Midjourney, I would recommend that you check it out. I think it is the most transformational thing that has happened technologically probably within the last 15 years or so. It is a watershed moment. This 2022, I think we're going to look back on 2022 and we're going to see that it has been a watershed moment for AI, particularly for writers. This year, pseudo-write, it's been around for a little bit, but pseudo-write is a lot more prominent in terms of AI-assisted writing. Google Audiobooks or Google Play came out with a tool that allows you to basically take your book and turn it into an AI-read audiobook. It's been around for a while, but they finally opened up the beta this year. Now there's Midjourney, which basically you can type in a prompt and it will generate an AI-generated art in seconds. So like, for example, I was playing around with it. I generated like 300 or 400 images. And you just literally type in what you want. So like, for example, I did a self-portrait or not a self-portrait, but a portrait of my dog. So I typed in the term Bichon dressed as Napoleon, oil painting. And it literally generated like a Bichon dressed as Napoleon in the style of like some of the great oil painting masters. And that was in seconds, right? I've seen other people do things like create like artificial people that are actually, that look real. Like I want a redhead model with green eyes wearing, a floral print dress on a swing in an autumn, under a tree. Like, and it will generate that. Like you can name any artist you can think of. You can generate art in that style of artist. And I think that this is something you should pay very close attention to, because this is the future of stock photos, and it's also the future of book covers. It's just that the technology is not quite there yet, but the results it's getting are fantastic. And so another thing to keep in mind is that you may want to keep an eye on your cover designers and make sure that they're not using AI art unless they're telling you, because there's a lot of copyright issues around this right now. The United States Copyright Office this year ruled that AI art, basically, generally speaking, AI art it cannot be copyright protected. It's in the public domain, which means you can't enforce copyright on any images that you create with an AI. But it's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening right now. So yeah, check out Midjourney if you get a chance. It's not the easiest thing in the world to use if you're not techie, but I really do think this is the future. Like, the future is here. This is a watershed moment. This changes everything in terms of art and how we think about art, because now there are many people who will never pick up a pen or a pencil to learn art who can now generate beautiful art within seconds. All right. Very, very big deal, everybody. Pay very close attention to it. It's going to be hitting a town near you very soon. All right. Wyland, Be a Writing Machine 2. I will buy that the second it becomes available. Pre-order if possible. I'm just gonna drop it, Wyland. I'm not gonna do a pre-order. I'm just gonna drop it. I'll let you guys know when it's out. It'll be sometime either later this month or next month. All right. Ulkesh says, new book sounds awesome. First Be a Writing Machine was great. Yeah, thank you. And Tim, I messed around with Midjourney and it produces cover-worthy images in minutes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's remarkable how cover-ready the images are. Like, for example, my biggest problem as an author is I like to put black people on my covers. You cannot find good stock photos of black people. It's better than it used to be, but everyone uses the same stock artists, now. So, you're going to see your model on someone else's cover more than likely. With AI art, you can type in black model, I want them to look like this, wearing this and that, and no one will have anyone that looks anything like that. And that's a great solution for someone like me. Yeah, Ty, thank you for joining. All right, thanks for coming along, and glad you had a good, productive session. And Wyland says, I feel like AI of various forms is the thing I've been waiting for since the tech boom of the 90s and 2000s. Yeah, it's definitely here. And Tim says, yeah, I typed in some prompts related to my sci-fi story, and the results were incredible. Yeah, I'm thinking about every short story I write, I might just generate a piece of AI art and include the art with the story, right? I mean, there's lots of things you can do. I mean, you can render scenes from your novel or landscapes from your novel, and the technology is only going to get better. So it's don't sleep on AI art. All right. 3765 words in the memoir. All right, fantastic. All right. Yeah, Nicholas says, doesn't all image editing software use some AI? The answer to that is yes. Photoshop uses a ton of AI. I mean, there's so many features in Photoshop that are AI assisted, but this is different because this is helping you generate art. So yeah, I mean that's the point is well taken, Nicholas. That Photoshop has been using AI for a very long time. I mean, just the apps that we use and love every day, Microsoft Word, Excel. I mean, all these use AI as well. So AI is not something that's new, but the generation of content is really what's new. Yeah, Amy says, I like that you say generate rather than create. Words do matter. Yeah, they do matter. I mean, there is certainly some element of creation, though. I mean, if you're limited to what your imagination can do. So I mean, like if I wanted to do like a portrait in the style of like the artist Chuck Close, I could type that in. And if I didn't like how it turns out, and no, I changed my mind, I want to do a portrait in the style of Singer Sargent, then I could literally just type that in and it'll change. So there's all sorts of things that you can do and imagine. So there definitely is an element of creativity. I mean, in fact, you can even specify like what type of camera you want the AI to use and the lens and even the f-stop. So if you know anything about photography, that's kind of a game changer, you know. Or you can change the style of the brushwork, or you can change the style of just, I mean, you name it. You can even change the lighting in the image. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. Yep. So good stuff. Yes, and folks, I am talking about Midjourney. Brendan asks, because it's on the Play Store. Um, I'm not aware of it being on the Play Store, Brendan. Midjourney is available on Discord. You have to basically join a Discord channel, and then basically you pay for membership, and then you generate your art within the Discord channel. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're seeing in the Play Store. You may want to be a little careful. Somebody might be trying to take you for a ride. All right. Yeah, thanks, Nicholas, for the question. All right, Bo, sorry you're talking about AI assistant art. Can you go back to generate, AI writing content? Yeah, I can. The AI art thing, I'm fascinated by that, and I'm taken with it because it is, I think, the most transformational thing that has happened since the Kindle. And I know that sounds a little weird, but it has just completely democratized art. And a lot of artists are not crazy about that, and I get it, but there's not really anything we can do to stop it from coming. So we've got to figure out how to incorporate it into our own businesses and figure out what we can do about it. So I like that. But to go back to AI generated content, we have not had that watershed moment as writers yet. Now, there is an app called Pseudowrite, and Pseudowrite is really cool because you can feed it a sample of your work. So say you're starting to write a chapter and you get 300 words into the chapter. You can click a button and the AI will generate some suggestions of what it thinks could happen next. And that's cool. The results with Pseudowrite are hit and miss. You know, I find that it's better for nonfiction if you're going to do it. Fiction, you just get a lot of enlightened gibberish. That's like the best way I can think of to describe it. It suggests things that are really interesting, but it doesn't make sense. But it's still fascinating. It uses the GPT-3 model. So that is probably the best tool we have on the market right now. There are other AI apps that will allow you to generate like copywriting content. So if you want help with your book description or help with a Facebook ad or something like that, they've gotten really good at generating interesting sales copy. But as far as books go, we're not anywhere near that yet. What would have to happen for it to be a watershed moment for books is that an AI would have to be able, you would have to be able to type in a prompt, and the AI would be able to generate a novel within seconds, right? And AI is the technology, natural language processing is just not there yet. It's probably going to be a few years until it gets anywhere near that. And then on top of that, you've still got to make sure that what the AI is generating makes sense, that it's not gibberish, that it can tell a consistent and coherent story. And I just don't see that yet. Natural language processing, I just don't see. I don't see it at a point where it can do that anytime soon. So whereas artists are freaking out because you can type in a prompt and then get a work of art in seconds that would have taken an artist weeks, months, if not years to generate or to create, you can't do that with novels yet. So as far as AI coming for our jobs, I think we're relatively okay in the short term, but AI will come for our jobs at some point. And so what I'm trying to recommend to people is that you need to think about that and figure out, one, how you're going to adjust your strategy. If someone could generate, pick some random person off the street, that dreams of writing a novel, and they can click a button tomorrow and generate a novel and slap their name on it. It's going to democratize our profession, right? So we're not there yet, but I encourage people to start thinking about diversifying your income streams, figuring out how to build your audience. Some of the things that have always been true will continue to be true, all right? Keep writing more books, keep being you, keep doing what Joanna Penn recommends, which is doubling down on your humanity. So, I'm rambly. I know I'm rambly, but yeah. Let's see. Bo says, I heard the same thing about writing articles for you or your blog post. Yeah, that technology is pretty good right now. I wouldn't say that it's amazing at generating a whole blog post, but certainly parts of blog posts are quite good. I experimented with this technology when I was writing my series, Indie Author Confidential. And it's basically like it's like a journal of my experience as a writer. And there were some chapters where I would start writing and then I'd click the button and see what the AI could do. And it would often come up with ideas or help me round out my arguments in ways that I didn't think of. And that's, I think, the benefit of AI right now for writers is that it's almost like having a co-pilot. You're writing along and then you click a button and then you get some additional ideas. Oh, I like that. I'm going to go with that, right? And then you keep going. So very, very interesting stuff. Bo says, but then again, who would read it if it's all AI generated if you knew they're, yeah. Well, right now, the answer is probably not a whole lot of people. In the future, when the technology gets better and it generates content that is on the scale of someone like a George R. Martin or a Michael Crichton, or Nora Roberts, then I think the conversation will change. And then I think readers aren't going to care. They're going to be focused on reading stories that appeal to them, as much as we probably don't like that. So I think we have to be prepared for readers' tastes to change, because I think that's what's going to happen. All right, Luana, it seems to me that in this day and age with computer games and other high-tech things, kids just wouldn't be interested in books. How can I keep kids engaged in my stories? Yeah, it's a really good question. Other medium, other types of media are our biggest competition. Comics and video games and the metaverse and all these other things that are coming out. Yeah, it's I don't know the answer to that other than just continue to double down on your craft and be the best writer you can be, tell the best stories you can tell, and create the most engaging covers that you can that will attract people's attention, and that's really it. And just keep finding ways to engage with the people who have the ears to hear what you have to say. Yeah, Amy, that's a good comment. I would love a group discussion of this topic, deep dive. Yeah, there's a lot we could explore here for sure. Would be a really cool panel discussion, actually. Wyland, do you have any big fears about AI? You're mostly positive about AI, as I am, but I have some fears and assume you do too. Yeah, my biggest fear is what artists and audiobook narrators are dealing with right now, which is the technology is turning their professions from creative professions into service professions. So let me give you an example. If I generate art with Midjourney right now, it's probably cover worthy, but there's probably a lot more I could do in terms of colors, fixing some blemishes on a character's face because the AI doesn't always get that right, and just some other things that I could do. Well, what I can do now is I could go to Fiverr and I could hire an artist to basically take the image and make it better, right? Just make it look a little bit more presentable, right? So whereas I would have hired that artist to create the image, now I'm hiring that artist to fix the image. So art effectively has just become a gig industry. You could always argue that maybe it always was, but now it's a gig industry in the more traditional sense of the term, that I think people are going to be able to generate art and then hire artists to fix what the AI gets wrong. And that is the value proposition of an artist moving forward. That's scary. That's scary. So when I think about what could happen for authors, I think about that same transition, that our future value proposition may not necessarily be the stories we can come up with, but our ability to take a story generated by an AI and turn it into something that is better. All right. So I don't know. There's a lot there. That's the biggest fear that I have. Another fear that I have is making sure that I have a community built by the time that this happens, right? Because I think new artists are going to be at a bigger disadvantage. If the later you start at this point, it's just going to be hard to build a portfolio of books that and build a community of people that will continue to be interested. So keep writing, everybody. Don't be afraid of AI. It will certainly have its downsides, but just like everything else that we've ever been through, we always endure. So just be cautious about the people that are like doom and gloom. Sky is falling. It's not. The sky is definitely not falling. Deborah asks, what was the app for audiobooks, AI audiobooks? Google Play. Google Play basically allows you, as long as your ebook is published on Google Play, you can literally click a button and it will generate a professional AI audio for you. And the results are astounding. You can check out my book, or my series, Indie Author Confidential. All that entire series is available in audio on Google Play and on my website. All right, so really, really good stuff. There's other apps as well. SpeechKey is another one, and then DeepSyn. But the problem with those is that you've got to pay for them, whereas Google's is free. And most places don't allow AI-generated art right now. So like Findaway Voices, or not art, but audiobooks. Findaway Voices doesn't allow AI-generated audiobooks on their platform, and neither does Audible. So we're kind of in a weird moment right now. All right, let's see. Got a couple minutes left. Let's see. Yeah, Amy says, it seems the music industry has been overtaken by AI. Yeah, what happens in the music industry usually comes to us a few years later, so it's definitely interesting to watch. All right. Wyland says, you've been reading IDW TMNT lately, so have you considered doing a comic? I want to and have done a lot of research into it, even have some people on board with it. Yeah, Wyland, I love comics. I have no interest in creating a comic right now for my work, mainly because it's so complicated. I just don't want to be involved with that personally. Now, if someone wanted to license my work and make a comic out of it, if it was a reputable company, absolutely. But there's just a lot that goes into comics right now. All right, let's see. Brendan says, the one thing that artists don't have to fear is the application on a canvas or a wall as graffiti artists, because AI is still contained within the screen world. Yes, it is, Brendan, but keep in mind that if I wanted to generate a brick wall and put graffiti on it and then make it look as if it was shot with a high-quality DSLR camera, I could absolutely do that. So the digital world is definitely really, really, really interesting stuff. All right. And folks, don't be shy about asking questions. Even if you ask a lot of questions, there's nothing wrong with that. I promise to answer everyone's questions, so it's good stuff. All right, Bo. Yeah, I think it's great to think about it as a co-pilot. Hey, it's technology. It's here now. And it's the same thing with like, are you going to go back to film versus digital? And I picked up your drift of what you were trying to say, Bo. So no worries. So yeah, good stuff, everybody. So our next Power Hour is going to be October 1st, so the first day of the month. It's kind of cool, easy to remember. Saturday, October 1st, first Saturday in the month. We'll be on a regular schedule until we get to the new year, all right? So first Saturday of the month. Folks, I got to run because I got to get ready for this speaking engagement. It has been a pleasure, and I'll continue talking about my Beast Mode journeys on my blog and community tab. So if you don't check those out, be sure to check those out. And yeah, peace out.